Welcome to Modern Farm Business Podcast. This podcast is designed to help the farm leader bring their business to the next level. We'll cover everything from leadership and finance to strategy and planning. I'm your host, Dean Hefta. In episode 4, I reviewed 3 strategic approaches to business and how for most farms, the one they have to be world-class at is being the low-cost per unit producer. Today, I'm diving into some insights from outside agriculture on approaches to increase efficiency and quality. We're going to pull in lessons from manufacturing, Japanese manufacturing that is, on how we can think differently about the business of farming. We're going to use Toyota and the Toyota production system as our case study in efficiency. Today, in many manufacturing organizations, a common philosophy at work is called lean, or sometimes lean manufacturing. Now, to help to make the leap into farming, let's take a moment and look at what production agriculture and building cars has in common. First off, when you look at the basics of manufacturing, you're taking raw materials, you're applying a process to them for the purpose of creating a finished product that the market is willing to buy. So, Toyota is ultimately buying and assembling raw materials into quality cars that the market wants. As farmers, we're taking raw materials like water, seed, soil, sunlight, and all kinds of stuff, applying our own expertise and unique processes to them to create a quality product, be it corn or cucumbers, that the market wants, even if some years we feel like maybe the market isn't too interested in what we're producing. So, what can we learn from Toyota? Well, let's look at what has really contributed to the Toyota we know today. Much of the quality movement in manufacturing can be traced back to events like Eli Whitney's use of interchangeable parts, which for the first time allowed us to shift the focus to quality and replaceability of each part rather than looking at the entire unit as a unique craft piece. Then you move to Henry Ford, who saw the efficiency that slaughterhouses had in how they disassembled a cow, and he envisioned how you could create an assembly line that had that same efficiency in creating something. Then comes World War II. The American war effort was forced to build a lot of high-quality machinery in a short amount of time. As the war manufacturing effort ramped up, along with it came the professionalization of the focus on quality. The processes had to build quality directly into the system. There wasn't any room for returns from the front lines if something was defective. Everything had to work and everything had to last. On top of it, they had to rely on a reduced and untrained workforce and very little management availability. The outcome was mind-boggling in the ramp-up, the quality, and the output that ultimately helped to win the war. After the war, there was a group of specialists who studied many of the quality lessons that had been learned. Among them was a man from Sioux City, Iowa, named Edwards Deming. In the post-war era, he went to major U.S. manufacturers to help them to implement these quality practices. Unfortunately, none of the American companies really had any interest in his concepts. They were convinced they could return to their pre-war notions, and the phenomenal post-war demand meant there really wasn't much consequence or demand for the efficiency or the quality that those lessons had yielded. So Deming was invited by the rebuilding effort in Japan to share with those companies his insights on quality and efficiency. They were eager to hear how they could improve their processes, especially considering the war-torn condition of the country, and they had an openness to learn from the country that had just beat them in war. That brief history gives us context and gives us insight on what ultimately led to the Japanese domination of manufacturing quality and efficiency. And it really peaked and really came to light globally in the 1980s, and since has set the standard for quality and has spread throughout the world as they have emulated many of their practices. Concepts of Kaizen and Lean were born in this movement and culminated in the Toyota Production System, or TPS for short. The TPS was all about quality, and in their focus on quality was the imperative to reduce three things: variation, overload, and waste. To dig into what became Lean as a philosophy, we'll focus on two areas: some principles in Lean and the Lean leader. First, there are many principles in Lean, but 4 of them seem to fit well into the world of farm business. And by the way, you'll find that much of Lean is really basic common sense stuff. It's the basics, and that's what makes it great. It drives us back to the simple things that we have to master, and often in life, it's the simple things that are not only meaningful, but also hard. So principle 1, and these are in no particular order, is called reduce waste. Duh, right? Everybody wants to reduce waste. But through Lean, we are challenged to really keep a fresh look at what waste is and where it lives. Lean has us picking up our tools and putting them back in their marked spot. We're sweeping the floor every day and making sure there's nothing unnecessary that's lying around. These are the little things that get us in the habit of not only reducing time that is wasted looking for tools, but also ensuring a safe workplace that we can be proud to be working in. Waste in Lean includes things like transportation. Are we driving or delivering inefficiently? Waiting. I know how much you love sitting there in the combine waiting for the truck to show up. Defects. You get really excited when the wrong field gets sprayed, don't you? Inventory. What's the problem with having 14 filters on the shelf for the tractor that we don't have anymore? Movement. Let's just make sure that the tools we need are never in the place that we actually need them. And extra processing. Ted spread the fertilizer on that field, but didn't realize the truck was empty, so you get to do it again. Lean looks at the system that contributes to the waste and seeks out ways to eliminate them from happening in the first place. So you can see waste and the elimination of it becomes a continual, daily focus of the system. Another principle is improve continuously. And this is really where that word Kaizen that occasionally you hear comes in. It's continual improvement. And this is about how we respond and learn as an organization. It's having a culture of curiosity that looks for ways to do things cheaper, faster, and better. It's asking questions when things don't go how we expect to dig into what we can learn. Then taking the lessons and applying them to improve the system, improve the organization, improve the product. Third is strengthen supplier relationships. Conventional thinking goes, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Spread your business around so you can get the best deal. Toyota actually did the opposite. They focused on quality and decided to go to fewer suppliers. They got close to their suppliers because they recognized the inefficiency of switching providers and how quality goes down when you can't manage all of the relationships. By having fewer suppliers, they were actually able to go into their supplier organizations and begin helping them improve their business. That not only increased the health of their suppliers, and you want suppliers that are financially sound, but it increased the quality of the product, in turn increasing the quality of Toyota's output. The fourth is level the load. Whether you're building cars, helping patients, or raising cattle, there are times when things get backed up. And this is a perennial challenge in a seasonal business like agriculture, but farming isn't the only place that bottlenecks occur. What Toyota did was, rather than resigning themselves to the fact that bottlenecks are going to occur, they are always looking for new ways to level out and smooth out the workflow and the load, and thought creatively and differently about how they can address these different backups. So in farming, that might mean thinking creatively about how we are timing our harvest schedules, how we are utilizing equipment efficiently, different ways that we can use capacity that we have. Maybe that's a shop, maybe that's equipment, capacity that is being underutilized in downtimes of the year, leveling out how we utilize that. These are 4 windows that you can use in looking into the machine of your operation. So, where is waste lurking for you? A messy shop, a couple of tractors not being used, unnecessary repairs in the middle of the peak season? How can you continually improve? When things don't go well, can we dissect what really contributed to that? Can we change our approach to improve our outcome? How are our supplier relationships? Are we changing providers every year and losing the deep knowledge and expertise in the name of a lower price? Is our supplier providing more than just a product? And what about our workflow? Is our equipment mismatched and causing backups? How can we adjust our schedule to become more efficient? Now let's get into the second part, the lean leader. When you look at bringing a philosophy like this to life inside a culture, it requires leadership. And in lean, there are certain characteristics of the successful leader. The leader focused on improving the lean skills of the organization focuses on 5 key areas in their day-to-day attention and activities. First, they understand the customer. They keep in mind the needs and wants of the customer. Business isn't just an exercise in effort. It's work designed with creating value for the person who's writing the check. They know what the customer wants, and they work diligently to improve how effectively the business is satisfying the customer. They spend time with them. They get feedback. They look for trends and make adjustments. Next, they focus on continuous improvement. The leader sets the tone if the organization is going to be fear-based, where mistakes get punished and therefore covered up, or if they foster the culture of learning to ensure the team can learn together what went wrong, why, and what can be changed to improve the system. They also focus on process and results. This is a balanced approach. Companies that focus only on results become tyrannical boiler rooms where everyone is in the hot seat, and before you know it, corners are getting cut in the name of making the numbers. The flip side is falling too in love with the process. There's a quote by an unknown author that goes, "However beautiful the strategy, you should occasionally look at the results." If we're only looking at what we're doing, we miss the opportunity to measure the ultimate impact of our approach, or maybe the impact of changes that we're making. Fourth is the building of people. An organization simply can't be stronger than its people, and great lean leaders focus on helping their people grow their skills and understanding through guided problem solving. So as leaders, they aren't showing up as the smartest person in the room. Their goal is to develop their people's thinking, so in the future, their people can do the thinking and problem solving without them there. They use open-ended questions that really probe into the issue, and they don't just stop with the symptoms, they dig into what's causing the problem. Finally, lean leaders create a culture that can sustain this mindset and behavior of continuous improvement. They don't look at things like lean as a quick fix or a Band-Aid. They have the commitment to know this is a simple, unglamorous approach to business, where you have to continually look to get a little bit better every day. This is not an event, it's a way of doing business. So this has been a quick overview of the approach that propelled a war-ravaged Toyota into becoming one of the largest and most respected manufacturers in the world. It didn't happen because they made one big change. It happened because of their dogged determination to slowly and incrementally getting rid of variation, overload, and waste. My challenge to you is, how can your farm become the new Toyota story? I hope you found something in this episode that you can apply, that sparked a thought or inspired you to want to learn more about how lean can improve your farm. If you want to learn more about things like Lean and this philosophy. A great book on the Toyota approach to this is called The Machine That Changed the World. And there's also all kinds of information out there that apply Lean in different situations. Another good book is called The Lean Turnaround by Art Byrne. We'll have links to this in our show notes that you can find on our website. Thank you for taking the time to join me with this episode of Modern Farm Business. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get podcasts so you can always get the latest episode when it's released. And do me a favor, tell a friend today about this program. I love hearing from you. Be sure to drop me a line at dean@modernfarmbusiness.com with any ideas or questions. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Modern Farm Business. Thanks.